Good evening. Welcome to the RussRantz stream / RussRantz podcast. I hope you're doing well. This is the second rendition, expedition of our new format where you can join us live every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time at twitch.tv/RussRantz if you'd like to join the live episode recording. And if not, I hope you're doing well wherever you are listening to our fine podcast. I know a lot of you guys have thankfully enjoyed the YouTube channel, which is great. And if not, and you happen to be on a road trip, commuting to work, or somewhere else listening to us on one of the major podcast platforms, glad to be here. Very thankful to be here. My goodness, we're just jumping right into the podcast recording. So just to fill you guys in, if you're late to the program or if you're used to the old classic RussRantz podcast episodes, you have no idea what I'm doing. I'm Twitch streaming right now on Twitch every Tuesday and Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. And it's been a lot of fun where we play games. We do community nights every other Tuesday. And then we try to do a podcast episode recording at the very beginning of the stream every Tuesday. We're trying it out. This is week number 2. So it's very weird still trying to get a rhythm and figure this out. So for those that are watching live, hello chat. Hope you're doing well. I legitimately mean that. I've already had that kind of a week where I'm like, oh my goodness. It's only Tuesday. That's the kind of week I've had already so far where I'm like, oh, wow. Like, it's only 2 days into the work week, man, and I'm already feeling it, so it's okay. We're just going to walk in with no expectations. We're going to talk about some fun stuff. Yes, it's very relevant to what happened over the weekend, and for a lot that don't care, that's okay, and thankfully, I'm not going to overemphasize it. I'm merely going to use it to segue into what I want to talk about with you guys today. So first and foremost, aside from it being great to be here, I am a movie buff. I do like my cinema. I am that nerd that when I watch a movie or watch a show and I'm like, hey, I recognize that actor, I will go on imdb.com, look them up, and make sure that I am right or I am wrong. And then I will inevitably click on their filmography to see what other movies this actor has been in. That's just like my nerdy nature. I love movie stuff. I love pop culture, as I've alluded to before, but I love movies. I love lore. I love knowing how actors are doing, how people got parts. It's all that funny, wishy-washy, fun stuff, okay? Now, surprisingly, this year, maybe it's a testament of how much I've grown. I missed the Oscars. I didn't watch any of the Oscars. Truth be told, I actually don't. I'm not one of those people that watch the Oscars from start to finish. I love the biggest moments, which is why obviously they save them for last, like best actor, best actress, supporting actress, and best movie or best film. Love those. That's the creme de la creme of the Oscars, in my opinion. And I'm going to quickly say that I don't view the Oscars like I do the Grammys, which is an incredibly biased, stuffy, well, Oscars are too to a degree, so I got to be careful. But I view the Grammys way more out of tune with the musical world and musical innovation than at least the Oscars. But the Oscars to me is still a decently reputable award show. But, of course, no one's talking about the Oscars show as much as what happened at the Oscars show. And even if you didn't watch it, like me, all of these memes start popping up out of nowhere. And you're like, why is there a picture of Will Smith smoking Chris Rock? This can't be real. I remember we were actually doing a movie night at my house Sunday evening. And I didn't realize, like, I just literally wanted to find out if Will Smith had won the Best Actor Oscar. I had been rooting for him. Okay, quick note really quickly. For those that aren't movie buffs, just plug your ears and go, la, 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 like it doesn't matter. I am going to use this. This is my podcast. I can say whatever I want to say. I've been rooting for Will Smith to win a Best Actor Oscar since he was robbed, in my personal opinion, in The Pursuit of Happiness. A quick shout out. If you have not watched The Pursuit of Happiness yet, you need to watch it. It is, honestly, in my opinion, the greatest performance that Will Smith has ever done. It was phenomenal. There's little boy Jaden Smith as well, which is just even more touching and horrifying with that movie. But I honestly thought he was robbed. And so when I heard that King Richard, the latest movie that he's been in that generated Oscar buzz, was picking up steam for him to pick up an Oscar. I was really rooting for him because he's quirky, and I don't totally agree with him and Jada Pinkett Smith and everything, but I was rooting for him. I'm like, Will Smith should have an Oscar. He's done a lot. He's a good actor. Yeah, he's been in some duds. Name an actor that has not been in a dud. Okay, so it obviously happens. Anyways, Sunday night, it was a movie night. We finished the movie night, and someone said, I think it was Polar or something, was like, hey, Will Smith won the Oscar. And I was like, awesome. So I Google Will Smith Oscars. What did you think I was going to get when I Googled that? I was expecting to see he wins Best Actor, or finally Will Smith gets the prize, or something like that. No, lo and behold, a big fat picture of him slapping Chris Rock, saying Will Smith slaps Chris Rock at Oscars. What? Why? Why is Will Smith slapping anybody? Why at the Oscars? Was this on live television? And I remember this very clearly, mentally just saying, I am not going to look into this. I don't want to ruin my evening and get all this cringy commentary and watch the footage and see Will Smith do whatever the heck he did. Well, of course, my wife is all over it. She's on every social media platform, and she is like looking at all the angles, all the opinions so far. And she, of course, calls me, we're getting ready for bed. And she's like, you got to come over here and see this. And I'm like, I really don't want to. I really don't want to see this. But of course, she not only found a clip of Will Smith, for sure, slapping Chris Rock, she found the unedited version where Will Smith yells back from the audience, don't put my wife's effing name in your mouth, or whatever the heck Will Smith said to Chris Rock. And man, that just made me so uncomfortable. And I was really bummed because, like I said, no one is going to remember Will Smith winning Best Actor. Everyone is going to remember Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. Like, blah, stupid. So anyways, it's really, really unfortunate that was the case. But I want to segue from Will Smith slapping Chris Rock because this does kind of parlay into what I've experienced today. And I'm going to tell you a quick story. And I'm not here to embarrass my oldest son because I love him, I respect him. But I will kind of relay a bit of a story of what we just went through today. You ready for a bit of a story? It doesn't matter because I'm going to go into one anyways. My kids, when I got home, sometimes I try to be deliberate. Sometimes I don't care. I'm too tired, and I try my best just to like give them a hug and say I love them, but then I'm just like, I'm in survival mode. Today, thankfully, I had a bit more fuel in the tank when I got home from work. And I said, guys, before supper, let's go for a walk. And our house, we are so grateful, has a really big, awesome path that overlooks the city. And if you walk on it long enough, you get to a really big park. And it's about a 10-minute walk. And there's a little park right across the street from our house. And what I said to them was, guys, we're not going to go to the big park, which is along the 10-minute walk, but let's go down the path where the big park is. But we're going to stop halfway, turn around, and go back to the little park across from the house. So that way when mom calls for supper, we can be done playing at the park and go into the house. Because a lot of them, they're like, I want to go to the park. I want to go for a walk. And I said, let's do a little bit of both. Well, I lost track of time. And I took my 3 kids, Tito, Effie, and Kezi, for the walk. And they had a lot of fun. It was great. But I lost track of time. I was really enjoying myself. I was holding my little girl's hand because I can do that because it's precious and it's marvelous. And we're walking. The weather's beautiful. It was like plus 10 degrees. No wind. I was so happy. And unfortunately, I got too close. You know, like that sensation where you know you've come too far and it's like kind of awkward to backtrack out of something. I knew now that we'd walked too far where the park now, the far park, was within eyesight. And it's marvelous. I have a 7-year-old, 6-year-old, and a 3-year-old, and they saw it. Their eyes locked onto that park. And I was like, well, okay, maybe we can go to it. So I started taking a few more steps because I'm like, we're making good time. Maybe they go play there for 5 minutes, then we walk back. We're good. So I'm like, oh, okay. And I unfortunately made the mistake of voicing my thought process in front of children. I don't care if you're a parent or not. That is, that's a big no-no. You do not let them in on the secret in case something like this story is going to introduce to you should happen that you have to redact said immediately regretted upon intention of doing something. So I said, okay, fine, let's go to the park. To this moment, I really wish I hadn't have said that, and I wonder if this wouldn't even have happened. But I said, okay, let's go to the park. Not 2 seconds after I said that, my middle child, Effie's like, Dad, I have to go to the bathroom. Okay. I'm like, all right, it's all right. Effie's a boy. I'm like, do you have to pee or do you have to go number 2? Because pee, we, stand up, go do a bush wee. We watch the Disney show Bluey. They're Australian. They call it a wee. So a bush wee. I'm like, we could go in the bushes. No problem. And he's like, no, I got to poo. I'm like, oh, crap. And I immediately knew what was going to happen. I took an inventory of how this was going to go down. Titus, once he gets it in his mind we're doing something, he is extremely opposed to change. Last minute change is a death sentence. So at first I had mentally prepared him. We will not be going to the big park. We're not going to be doing this. We're going to go halfway, turn around, and go to the small park, and away we go. So we had that set in his mind. But he was obviously disappointed. He was the one that wanted to go to the big park. So I'm like, okay. But then, of course, I voiced, okay, fine, we'll go to the big park for a few minutes. Now he has recalibrated that very tunnel-visioned brain of his. We are going to do something that I've always wanted to do all day, was to go to the big park. And now, within mere milliseconds, we are going to have to redact that because Effie, I asked him, I was like, how bad do you have to go? Are you going to go in your pants if we don't go somewhere? And he's like, I have to go really bad. Now, as a parent, I shouldn't be surprised at the last-minuteness of kids. I even made all 3 of them try to go pee or go bathroom before we left. This is just a token move by a parent. Make all the kids go to the bathroom. I don't even care if they say they don't have to go to the bathroom. You make them. Okay? So, of course, I'm like, well, there's nothing that could be helped. Effie has to go back. And then right after that, my daughter pipes up. She's like, I have to go number 2 as well. I'm like, oh man, well then this is a non-negotiable. Like I wasn't even willing to push it with Effie going to the park if he had to go bathroom. I'm like, Keziah is 3, potty trained just over a year. This ain't happening where we're gonna have 2 explosions in one in the middle of the public. Okay, so I brace and I say, guys, I'm really sorry. I know you're going to be disappointed. I'm trying to breach as best I can. I'm trying to brace for impact here. And I'm like, but we got to actually turn around and go, I know Daddy just said we can go to the big park, but I'm really sorry. We've got to go back. Instant anger, instant mayhem, instant explosion of unexpected emotions. Titus was a wreck. He's just like, no, I wanted to go. And then Kezi starts crying, even though she confessed that she should not go to the park because she needs to go bathroom. And Effie was silent because he was like, yeah, I need to go bathroom, guys. I'm really sorry. I'm disappointed too. Actually, no, he even tried to say no, I can hold it. But he was holding his stomach. I'm like, no, you can't, dude. And he was obviously disappointed, but he immediately turned himself to walk back home because he has to go bathroom. Titus is not. Titus, again, this is not meant to embarrass my son, but full on letting me have it full blast. There's a fight or flight instinct when people experience, what's the right word? Not conflict, but when they experience a problem, when they experience, not confliction. Why can't I say it? It just, when they experience problems in their life, there's a fight or flight. Titus is pure, I'm going to beat you dead. That's just the way that he is. So he's yelling. And I'm like, son, I know. And here's the thing. I want to give you a bit of an insight, probably too much insight into myself as a parent. I am a very authoritarian parent. I know. It sounds surprising, right? Because I'm so happy-go-lucky. But as a parent, as a dad for years, I've been like, it's my way or the highway. That is just instinctually how I parent. Okay? I am very authoritative, clear with my boundaries. Do not cross this line or you suffer the consequences. We call it discipline and consequences. Very clear wording for the children. Okay? Go to your room. You don't get a snack. You don't get, TV or something. Consequences, right? It's good. It's healthy. And so I've done that for years. But over the last maybe 6 to 8 months, I've learned that with Titus's personality, that is unfortunately a developmental death trap. If I try to power through my son, who is a very strong-willed child, right? You try to domineer someone who uses domineering to get his way, Titus. is just an explosion. It's like we're nuking each other. Okay, Effie is more submissive in a good way. He's just like, oh, I'm not crossing the line. I don't want to get a consequence. And Kezi, well, she's, right, she's 3 years old. She's an asshole right now, but like she mostly won't cross the line if I'm firm enough. Titus does not care. Once he gets it in his head, whatever he's affronted with, whatever he's offended by, it cycles through. Okay, now I'll stop there. I have been working hard. I've been reading a parenting book where it says I have to adapt and adopt the appropriate parenting style for each child's demeanor. It's like a toolkit. You know, I'm an authoritarian parent. Some parents are more pacifists and other parents are more equalitarian. We're all equals here. And so you have to embrace the toolkit. You have to embrace the different style of parenting for each child's style. So Titus does not need an authoritarian parent, because he's a very strong-willed, opposing child. He needs an equalitarian. We're partners in this. Let's do this together, or a pacifist. And you think pacifist means roll over? It doesn't mean that. It just means like you get the child to come to their own understanding. I'm more equalitarian. If anything, if I have to surrender my authoritarian demeanor. I hope I'm making sense. If I'm not, just bear with me. Hopefully this gets better and I have a point to all this. So, over the last few months, obviously I've had my bad days with Titus where I explode. I've my bad moments of anger, authoritarian. He starts crying or yelling, and then he goes to his room, and it's kind of, we take some time to diffuse it, but it's not very good. It's not very pretty, but we get by. And then other days, I have good days where I take a deep breath, and I'm like, wow, this guy, I want to fight him right now. But let's try to ask questions. Let's try to bring him down. Let's empathize, okay? Today, thankfully, was a good day for me, where as soon as I knew we were not going to the park, I was like, okay, I have two choices. I could be like, it's my way or the highway, be quiet, let's go, or suffer the consequences, or be like, he is 7 years old. He's going to experience really, really big emotions. And instead of, shame is a strong word. Instead of like trying to like coerce him to see that his rationale is wrong or that he's being immature, he's friggin' 7. I decided I was going to try to be an equalitarian parent and try to say, look, I empathize. I understand you're disappointed. I understand you're angry. And yes, I know it's not fair. Daddy just said we're going to go to the park, but we have to go. And I just kept trying to repeat those words. Titus is berating me. He is yelling. He even almost got run over by a cyclist because he did that he's very dramatic. And he says that. Like, he loves his drama. He's very dramatic, very imaginative. That's okay. It's his personality. It's not a diss. But he even goes like 2 knees on the ground and stretches his arms out in the sky and goes, why? Oh my gosh, guys. I had to bite my tongue from laughing like 3 different times because I'm like, you are the parent right now. This is a very serious offense against your son. You can't laugh. Otherwise, it makes it way, way worse. And so anyways, he didn't get run over by a cyclist and we're walking back. Again, it's a 10-minute walk back home. And I have choices to make. And here's the thing, and this is where we're going to wrap into what this episode is about, is I had to decide, wow, I can't talk. I had to decide what I wanted the end result of this incident to be. I did. I had to decide, what do I want the end result to be? Do I want to domineer my child and be like, you be quiet, shut up? I don't say shut up, but just like, be quiet, you know. We're going home, your brother has to go poop, and this is the way it is, deal with it. Or do I want my son to understand that though he's disappointed, it's okay to be disappointed. Sometimes life has unexpected disappointments and we have to learn how to process that. Now, that obviously said and worded like that is suicide to a 7-year-old. There's no way, the moment you said more than 3 words, they're not going to retain anything. But what I decided in that moment was, again, I want to emphasize that in these moments of conflict, in these moments of disappointment, in these moments of unfortunate circumstance with people, you have to decide, what do I want the end result to be? The book Crucial Conversations, I would recommend that to anyone who has to they have a difficult boss, they have difficult coworkers, they have difficult family members. That book is a godsend. Crucial Conversations. You can even DM me or email me or message me on Instagram. I will tell you the authors. Phenomenal book. It changed my life. They talk about what's the win. What's the win of this dialogue, this conversation, this incident? And I decided, I was like, I don't want to overpower Titus just to subdue his emotions, make him submit to it, and make him all disappointed. And then Rad just said, is this just going to be the long form version of, I left him at the park? No, thankfully not, Rad. Thankfully not. Hi, by the way. Good evening. No, I decided I wanted Titus to try to figure this out. He can berate me for a bit, but I want him to realize that he needs empathy. To be like, I'm being mean right now. I'm being very self-centered. So we walk back 10 minutes, and unfortunately, it was getting worse, not better. He was escalating. His voice was going nuts. He was coming up with different dramatic ways of saying how unfair this was. And then I even tried asking leading questions. Like, well, how do you think Effie feels? Not good. Well, do you think he wants to go home? No. But we should go home because he needs to go to the bathroom. No, I want to go to the park. Well, is it fair to Effie if you want to go to the park? Yes, because I want to do what I want. I'm like, okay, never mind. This isn't going well, right? Oh, God, Rad. So you didn't read the same parenting books as my mom. No, I did not. Good for your mom. Good for your mom. Tough love. I can see a lot of that in you in a good way, I'm sure. I'm sure. So I decided I wanted Titus to process, so I was silent, which is, guys, for me, that is like a friggin' miracle. All 10 minutes, I just kept getting some deflective answers, trying to empathize with him. I know it's disappointing. Isn't that disappointing? I'm really sorry. We get to the house. Titus goes down to his room to cool off. I said, Titus, this is not a timeout, but I do need you to go down. I need you to go downstairs to your room for a bit, and well, I'll come down and talk to you in a few minutes. Like, let's give you some time to chill. I come downstairs and I ask him a bunch of questions. It wasn't perfect, but to tie this in a bow, he calmed down, came upstairs. I said, hey, I'll leave you here for a few more minutes. Once you kind of know how you want to, what steps you want to take next, let's go from there. And I'd promised them I'd play Monopoly Junior with them after this walk. And I was like, Titus, if you can't calm down, man, I don't know if I can play with you, Monopoly Junior. And it wasn't like a threat. It was just like, dude, I don't want to play with you if you're going to be like angry and stuff. He comes upstairs. He takes a few deep breaths. And he says, Dad, I've decided to think about what I did and what to do next. And I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, this is a breakthrough. I'm like, okay, Tito, what do you want to do? And he looks right at Kezi. She's in the living room, and he's like, sorry, Kezi. I'm like, oh, snap. And then he's like, sorry, Daddy. He goes over to Effie, he says, sorry, Effie, for yelling. I'm like, what? This is outstanding. Like, you guys don't know. Like, this does not happen for me this often. I'm trying to be a better parent, and I've always domineered. And now I'm like trying the passive equalitarian approach, and this happened. And he comes over to me and gives me a hug, and he's like, I am very sad. Rad. And then he packed up his Tonkas and went to the park by himself. No, he did not do that. He gave me a hug, and he's like, I'm disappointed. I said, can we try to go to the park tomorrow? He's like, okay, we can try to go to the park tomorrow. Let's play Monopoly Junior. And we did. All right, so let's wrap this back really quick with Chris Rock and Will Smith, okay? Because, again, a lot of you guys have seen more memes than the actual footage of the Oscars. Probably a lot of you guys don't even watch the Oscars, but you now know about it because of Will Smith and Chris Rock. Apparently, the story is that, actually, it's not even apparently, it's true. Jada Pinkett Smith has an illness or disability, something like that, where she's experiencing hair loss. It's tough. And so she's purposely now shaving her head and bringing awareness to this illness. Okay? She's like, that's very brave of her, very humbling. And so it's a sensitive topic, especially for a woman, I can imagine, where she has to shave her head. And so she's going through that, and Chris Rock makes a quip. It's not even for Best Actor. He's doing an announcement for like documentaries is what he was presenting for. And he says, by the way, Will and Jada, I can't wait. Is it alopecia? Alopecia? You're right, Axel. And hi, Axel, by the way. You're right. It was alopecia or something. I can't remember what it's called. Alopecia? Alopecia. My bad. Alopecia. Yeah, alopecia. Thank you. My bad. Calm down. Okay, everybody? Fine. This is the RussRantz podcast. I suck at pronouncing those. Alopecia. Okay? He was presenting for. And he says, by the way, Will and Jada, I can't wait. Is it alopecia? Alopecia? Jada. Like, that's pretty mean. I get that there's rough comedy, dark comedy, like comedians make fun of pop culture all the time. They get sensitive parts. It was nuts. I know, Ken. So see, again, people listening, if you're not here part of this Twitch stream, we have chat, right? So Ken, longtime follower, Rad, Axel. And so Ken saying it was a joke. I get it. This is where I'm going with this. Chris Rock is a comedian. This is not about, this is not off the collar. Chris Rock is a very famous comedian. He's never been one to just be like very conservative and polite. He's very edgy. That's literally his brand. And that's correct. And Will Smith at first is seen laughing at the joke. It's true. They even show a clip of him and he's like halfway laughing at it. And some people speculate that Jada looked over at Will and was just like, you better go fix this because I'm not happy. And it's true. I get that, Rad. Like, it's true. Jada also makes fun of it or provides attention to alopecia on her show and stuff like that too. So it's very conflicting. So Chris Rock says this joke and he's continuing his monologue and Will Smith just walks up the stage and friggin' slaps Chris Rock. Okay? Chris Rock is stunned. Will Smith sits back down. Chris is like, dude, why? Like, it was a joke. And Will Smith says, like, take my wife's name out of your effing mouth or something like that. And exactly. So really quickly, Can just said he doesn't have the right to strike another person over words. I agree. Okay? As unfair and unwholesome as Chris Rock was, you could even say he was out of line, depending on how extreme you want to take that joke. Because again, this is not uncharacteristic of Chris Rock. Incredibly edgy comedian. Okay? My point is, this is a super dramatic, over-the-top celebrities at the Oscars, once-in-a-lifetime incident that's super Akko Taco. But a part of me was really bummed for Will Smith because as I alluded to at the very beginning of the episode, no one's going to remember that Will Smith achieved his highest achievement in acting and won a Best Actor. They're all going to remember this was the Oscars where Will Smith friggin' slapped Chris Rock. And like, that's so demoralizing. That sucks. Exactly. And Can says, and 10 minutes later, Will Smith gets a standing ovation for Best Actor. Yes, wow, Hollywood. Like that, let's just put that all aside. It's all Hollywood. I just thought, especially after today with Titus and then friggin' Will Smith over the weekend, I think it's just an fortunate opportunity to challenge all of us whenever these little opportunities come up in the day. Because I'm going to say this right now, these things happen in various levels of extremeness, high or low levels, throughout the day. Someone makes a quip at you. It could be your boss, it could be your coworker, could be your sibling, could be your spouse, could be your partner. They can make a quip and you want to slap them so bad, whether with your words or physically. I am not for physical violence, but I'm just saying, like, I get it. That intense anger, okay? Oh, thank you, Reese, for the follow. Appreciate you. Hope you're enjoying the episode and welcome to the Rantz fam. Appreciate you. I'm not endorsing that. What I am saying is, thank you for the follow. Oh, man, there's a lot of followers. Jeepers. Thank you. Holy crap. Appreciate all of you. Hemigledge? And Borger. Thank you for following. I appreciate you guys. Welcome to the Rantz fam. I just want to say that during the day... What the frick? There's another follow. What the frick? This cat... What? Thank you, Smith Eric and Deckmark and Marto. What the monkey's going? Hi, everybody. Jeepers. Thanks for the follow. I just wanted to say, like, with everyday life like this, I'm getting spammed with all these follows. This is crazy. We have to choose what we want the final result to be. I don't think Will Smith thought how much this could potentially damage one of his greatest moments. And I'm not saying that every single thing that happens to us is going to damage all of our greatest moments here. Okay, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that we have to make a choice sometimes how we're going to respond. It's tough, okay? July is my 10-year anniversary. Super excited. There have been many times where I have figuratively, analogically slapped Paula when we've had a discourse rather than think, what do I want the end result to be? Do I want to, and don't worry, I have not physically slapped my wife. That's not what I'm saying. Watch it. Twitch streamer RussRantz admits to physical abuse. That's not true. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying, though, is that literally can be just a really great example right in front of us. Like, how do you respond to someone when they call you out, when they do the low blow, when they attack you? Frickin' rad. That's what I heard. Clipped. I hate you. Dadgummit. Yes, Axel, you're absolutely right. It's Will Smith's first Oscar. Like, his greatest moment became one of unfortunately, the most notorious moment, perhaps, of Oscar fame. That's really, really unfortunate. Will Smith ruined the award for others too. Screw ruining his own moment. You're absolutely right, Rad. Like, that's absolutely true. Will Smith ruined the award for the others as well. And so, I don't know. I don't want this to get too heavy. It's just a weird circumstance, but my son today was just a small learning moment for me, and I'm going to take that. I could have domineered. I could even, here's the worst part. Here's the scariest part. I could ignore. If I had gone my typical default, which was domineering and authoritarian over Titus, I might not even worry about it. Yeah, my kid cried for a little bit. He got over it. He toughened up. And, he didn't get to play Monopoly because that was his discipline. And my day was okay, though. And I might not even be aware of what type of an opportunity I passed up on. That would have been scary. Do you understand? So in life, whether it's a confrontation with someone or an opportunity to be empathetic to someone, take the high road, you have to decide who you want to be. Because unfortunately, you are going to find yourself more often than not in the position of Will Smith than Chris Rock. Chris Rock, don't be a Chris Rock either, though, really quickly. Oh, Can says Ricky Gervais went way further with inappropriate jokes and no one hit him. It is true. I understand that as well. And then Rad says, I wish someone would smack Ricky Gervais. Well, that's great. This is great. So that's it. It's just my quick quip, you guys. I think that it's just something that I'm going to try to be mindful of. Like, frick, man, I feel bad for Jaden and Willow Smith. Jada's tough for me because, like, I feel for her too. First off, she was the reason why Will went up there. He's protecting his wife. Kudos to him in that way. But, like, I was even thinking about how would I have gone about it differently? I might have gone on stage, still at the Oscars, knowing my authority is Will Smith, and been like, Chris, I'm not cool with that. That's not nice. I am actually personally fan. I would appreciate it if you apologize to my wife. Now, a lot of people would be like, you're too sensitive or whatever. At least he didn't physically hit Chris, and he kind of shamed him, and we'll see. But, I mean, I don't know. Anyways, it's just one of those things, man. I think for you and I, when we walk day to day, if someone cuts us off in traffic, if someone drops the ball at work, if our boss frustrates us or does that stupid thing again, figure out how you want this to look. And I'm not saying you have to take it, okay? Like I just alluded to with Will Smith, I'm not saying Will Smith smiles, nods, pretends to fake laugh, whatever. That's exactly what he said at his Oscar speech. He's like, I protect my family. I'm not saying you take it, but I'm saying maybe don't slap them. Maybe that most direct, maybe you could sarcastically cut them to shreds because you have the gift of the tongue and they insulted you or they insulted your wife or something and you can destroy them right then and there. But is that what you really want and is that really the win? I don't think so. I don't know if I'd be married still if I kept trying to Will Smith my way. And again, I have to be careful how I phrase that verb, man. Like, it's just everyone's going to be like, all he does is slaps his wife. That's not what I'm saying. Oh, man. Here I'm reading chat, and they're just still talking about Jaden Smith and Ricky Gervais. This is great. What did Ricky Gervais do to you? He subjected me to his smug face and awful comedy. Wow. So that's it, guys. That's the RussRantz podcast episode for today. I appreciate you guys listening in. If you ever want to, this tries to get produced every Saturday. You can find me on YouTube at RussRantz, or you can go to any major podcast platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Look up RussRantz Podcast, RUSS space RANTZ podcast, where you can even listen to past episodes because we got you covered. Okay? So appreciate it. Thank you again to Rise, Hemi, Borger, Smith, Eric, Deckmark, and Mardo. Appreciate you for following and joining the Rantz fam here on Twitch. Really appreciate you guys. If you're interested in catching me on streaming, those who are listening on the podcast, again, every Tuesday and Thursday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Thank you for listening. I know it's so chaotic sometimes listening to a podcast / stream, but I hope you enjoyed it. Don't Will Smith people. Think about how you want things to go. What's the better way to go around it? And if you can't, maybe I'll end on this. If you can't fix it, if you know the other person's a butt face, walk away. You can walk away. You don't have to deal with it. You can move away from that. All right? So be better. Tip your waitresses. Have a great day. Thanks for listening.